A global survey by the United Nations revealed that over 85% of people are concerned about online disinformation, with 87% believing it has already harmed their country's politics. A UNESCO Commission survey in 16 countries with upcoming national elections highlights the urgent need for effective regulation. New York Times reporter Balzhan Samigulina interviewed Emerson Brooking from the Digital Forensic Research Lab on recognizing disinformation and social media. How to be armed against disinformation and fakes in multiple media platforms users are now exposed to. Let's learn the answers from the interview.
Mr. Brookin, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here. You're a big and widely cited expert in the field of information conflict, disinformation, AI policy. So what tools can you share with us that can be used in order to recognize the misinformation, disinformation that can be spread in our social media, please?
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And frankly, I can't share one particular tool because the tools are changing all the time. Instead, in my talks and presentations, I often focus on ways of thinking. And this idea that as we are navigating online spaces, as so many people are competing for our attention all the time, potentially spreading mis and disinformation, that the best approach is to adopt something we call horizontal thinking, where we encourage people to consult many different sources of information shallowly, and then try to figure out if a particular claim they see is true before diving deep into one particular source.
So it's just a way of thinking. There is no especially tools that can be used right now, no?
There are endless tools, but there's no silver bullet. Instead, there's more a mode of thinking where we should be more adaptable, more willing to question our own biases and assumptions, and always a willingness to be looking for new technical tools that may help give us the solution. But understanding that it's not going to be a particular tool, it's not going to be an AI chatbot that is bringing you to the truth. You have to do that yourself.
I heard your TED Talk speech that you have given 4 years ago, and you mentioned that in some nations, misinformation can lead to more drastic and terrible consequences. Can it concern Kazakhstan too?
Mis and disinformation can lead to these catastrophic consequences anywhere. So I'd encourage you and anyone who uses online spaces to think carefully, especially when a falsehood is being spread about a vulnerable people, about an ethnic, cultural, religious, or sexual minority, because it is in those cases where falsehoods that are being spread about one of these groups can quickly lead to a sort of fire of viral falsehood and can really endanger lives.
You're also an author of books on social media. Is there any specific of misinformation that being spread in Central Asia, if to take it into account that Kazakh users, for example, do not use Facebook and X that much as Western countries, for example?
So I think that the challenges of mis and disinformation look quite different in Kazakhstan because of the different social media platforms that you use.
Yes.
When you are, as Kazakhs are, using these social media platforms which are predominantly Telegram, which have these smaller groups that are coming together around a common set of interests, there is still the danger of falsehood going viral on these chat logs. So I'd encourage people to take great care when they're forwarded new content in one of these groups, to take a step back and to consider, even if you like the group where you saw the content, even if you trust the person who forwarded it to you, did they actually read it? How did the forwarding start? By taking that step back and really reflecting, we can still prevent the spread of misinformation, no matter where we are.
So it's about the Telegram. Kazakh users use Telegram more than others, right? What about Instagram, for example?
So with Instagram, that is a case where the mis and disinformation can be quite hard to detect.
Because of picture also, yes? We have more picture and video there, yes.
Exactly. When it is in a picture form, the technical methods of, say detecting something or reducing the spread of it become much harder. So then it is also a case where if you are a user of Instagram, more responsibility unfortunately falls on you to be applying those critical thinking skills to what you're seeing.
Now we're widely using the ChatGPT, which is an AI tool. Are you planning to maybe release a book on ChatGPT, how to recognize also the disinformation that can be spread through this ChatGPT?
That is a great next book idea, although I think by the time I would write it, ChatGPT, the next version would be doing a better job.
Would be faster, yes.
That's right. Now, I think I'll return to what I said at the beginning, which is this idea that the technology is changing all the time, but the challenges are still fundamentally human. And so even as AI is changing so much of modern life, it is still up to us to apply our own critical thinking and to understand that even if the AI sounds perfectly convincing, it still has severe limitations.
You are the Director of Strategy and Resident Senior Fellow at the DFR Lab of the Atlantic Council. Are there any plans to maybe open the center or branch here in one of the Central Asian countries, or to work closer with Kazakh partners?
So I can't confirm such plans at this time, but it is my hope that we engage more across Central Asia. I think it's very much the case that here in Astana, in Kazakhstan, the Kazakhs I've had the opportunity to meet are so entrepreneurial, creative, and forward-thinking when it comes to digital tools. People are so good at using these digital tools to close historical gaps that have existed between different regions. And so as a result, there's immense opportunity for the use of technology in Kazakhstan, but also particular dangers of mis and disinformation.
Regarding the cybersecurity, what are the biggest challenges in general for our country and for our region, and how we should address them, do you think?
This is a difficult question.
Yes.
I would say in our daily lives, and it is a very boring answer, but the most important thing we can do, we should always do, is think twice before clicking on a link from an email.
But we do not do that.
Well, that is a problem. That is something that I hope we together can increase understanding of, because especially people who are maybe newer to online communications, they may not recognize that people are targeting them. People are trying to steal their information. Criminals are going after them. And so that is something that I think everyone can do a better job at. But that is the number one, basically, way to be prepared when we think about cybersecurity.
If to speak about the concept of cybersecurity of Kazakhstan, what should be obligatory included in there, especially taking this geopolitical situation?
So I said what everyday Kazakhs should be doing is we think about a concept for the country regarding cybersecurity. I think most important is this idea of resilience, digital resilience. Digital resilience, and this is also a term that the United States has begun using for our own cyber preparedness. But resilience means that you're going to be attacked. The attack may initially be successful, but how quickly can you recover from it? We need to get away from this idea that we can be perfectly protected against cyber attacks. Unfortunately, that's not the way things work. But if you take the right steps, if you back up critical systems, if you have redundancy, you can ensure that even a major cyber attack doesn't have much lasting impact on the population.
Thank you very much for an interesting conversation. Glad to see you here.
Thank you very much.